It's not worth uploading a video of pig slaughter to YouTube, especially one that shows electric stunning. YouTube reacts very badly to violence against animals. Even if the video is educational, even if it shows the truth, such material will almost certainly receive an age restriction. It may be hidden from most viewers. It may lose monetization. It may receive a platform warning. In extreme cases, it may disappear along with the channel. YouTube does not assess intentions. It reacts only to images. And I'm not doing this to shock. I don't want to force anyone. I simply don't want to pretend it doesn't exist. I could no longer bear the thought that I pay for suffering that I myself would not be able to inflict. I didn't have to watch everything to the end to understand that I no longer want to participate in this. That's why instead of showing death, I show a choice. Without screaming. Without violence. With a simple decision and a clear message. This is something YouTube can show to the world. I wasn't planning any change. I was scrolling through Facebook as usual. I came across a page posting one post after another. No shouting. No slogans. Just facts and images. And at some point, something shifted inside me. I didn't become a vegetarian. I simply decided not to support the meat industry campaign. I had always heard that humans are hunters by nature. That without meat there is no strength. That it's necessary. Then I saw a photo of vegan bodybuilders from the US. And that story about necessity stopped making sense. It seems humans are more gatherers and farmers than the hunters we like to imagine ourselves to be. I didn't change my diet to be better. I didn't do it for fitness. I simply stepped away from something that no longer fit me. Everyone has their moment. Mine came when I stopped believing it had to be this way. An industry based on the exploitation and massacre of billions of innocent and sentient beings cannot in any way be defined as progressive or humanitarian. As long as a human feels pain, they are alive. As long as a human feels another's pain, they are human. In this photo, unfortunately, there is neither a human nor humanity. Reject violence. Choose veganism. Different cultural habits, the same crime. He who follows the crowd will never go further than the crowd. He who walks alone will find himself in places no one has ever reached before. Besides enslaving, torturing, and murdering them, they mock them even after death. The human species is nature's greatest evolutionary mistake. Be vegan. Does this slaughterhouse death cell seem empty to you? No. It is not empty. It is filled with screams. Pleas for mercy. Suffering, terror, dying dreams of life, of love, and of freedom? Be the person who forever completely empties this room splattered with the blood of the defenseless. There is nothing humane happening in a slaughterhouse. We are here for the animals. We are advocates for all beings who have been stripped of their voice and their right to a dignified life. Please join us. Be vegan. Every year in Poland, several 100 million land animals are killed for human purposes. They are highly developed, sentient vertebrates, categorized as so-called farm animals. They are not granted the same cultural status or legal protection as similar animals classified as so-called companion animals. Most animals from the first group are entangled in industrial farming, which means not only death but also a life full of suffering. The effects of their harm are omnipresent, and the majority of society benefits from products created at their expense. Yet despite the scale of this phenomenon, their suffering remains in the shadows. The possibility of choosing a better, Non-exploitative model of human relations with other animals also remains largely unrecognized. Do not breed in order to kill. Animals are not human food. From now on, being a non-vegan is a crime. People who allow the abuse and killing of animals commit a crime. We are here for the animals. We are the advocates of all beings who have been deprived of a voice and the right to live. Please join us. Slaughterhouse, a place where nothing good or humane ever happens. Calf fetuses cut from the wombs of cows murdered in slaughterhouses. They are of course thrown straight into the trash because they are useless to the industry of death. In many cases, the calves are already fully developed and close to birth. Then they are brutally killed on the floor right next to their dying mothers. Most dairy consumers do not even know that this is how the empathy-less dairy and slaughter industry operates. They will never be taught this at school and will never be shown the truth in colorful dairy advertisements. Open your eyes. If you do not want to be part of this disgusting crime, go vegan. The sight of dog meat being served for dinner shocks many people. Even the thought of slaughtering and cooking dogs provokes extremely negative reactions in most of us. Why? How is this different from doing the same to pigs, cows, lambs, or chickens? The only difference is cultural norms. All of them are sentient beings. All of them want to live. All of them feel pain, fear, and terror. Chicks are born in large incubators and never see their mothers. Shortly after birth, males and females are separated and sorted like lifeless goods. Females are destined for a life of slavery in the egg industry, while males are either thrown into trash bags and suffocated or ground alive in macerators. One-day-old female chicks have the tips of their beaks cut off using a hot blade. Between 5 and 11, hens are crammed into tiny wire cages. The cages are often stacked on top of each other, which does not prevent urine and feces from falling onto the birds below. Due to the horrific living conditions, many die in these cages. Often their bodies are left to decompose for days among still living birds. After about 2 years of enslavement, those who survive are sent to slaughter. In the slaughterhouse, laying hens meet the same bloody and cruel end as chickens raised for meat. Imagine you were born on death row as a prisoner sentenced for a crime you did not commit. Welcome to the world of animal nightmares from which they cannot wake up. Do not harm the defenseless and the innocent. Choose veganism. A good broth is worth as much as good urine. The same substances are boiled out of meat as those that flow away with urine. It gave me something to think about. Empathy is knowing what another being feels, feeling what that being feels, responding with compassion to that being's pain. So I notice you, I feel with you, and I act in a way that helps you. Empathy is an important component of emotional intelligence and means the ability to emotionally identify with another being, to put oneself in their situation. In particular, it is about the ability to evoke and understand the feelings they experience and to anticipate their needs, thoughts, and reactions to our messages. We are here for animals. Choose veganism. Chickens are small. It almost invites keeping many of them. Very many. Preferably in cages. Recently, the benevolent European Union ordered cages to be increased from 550 to 750 square centimeters. A chicken can take one more step. Long live freedom of movement. An orgy of freedom spilling slightly beyond the surface of an A4 sheet. Veterinary care can be troublesome even with a few animals. What does it look like when there are 100, 1,000, or 10,000 animals? In cages or halls. Wounds. fractures, eye diseases, and respiratory irritations remain untreated, which is easy to imagine when crowded animals inhale fumes from accumulating waste. Animals are meant to lay eggs, and after 1 or 2 years, those that survive are sent to slaughter. Death is factored into the low price of eggs. Not only chickens that have become less productive die in hatcheries supplying hens to egg farms. Both females and males hatch from eggs. Male chicks are treated as waste and brutally killed once their sex is identified. You can call yourself a milk producer only when your own body produces it and you extract it from your own breast. If you take it from the breasts of others, you are simply stealing it, which makes you a thief. If those robbed of their milk are also killed so that you can profit, you are also a killer. Every spoonful of dairy is a spoonful full of the suffering and death of little calves. Stay away from animal products. How much would a pig have to resemble a dog to deserve the right to live? We are here for animals. We are advocates for all beings who have been deprived of a voice and the right to life. Please join us. A pile of skinned foxes. In this photo taken at one of the fur farms, you can see the final bloody result of fur production. Tens of thousands of healthy animals were skinned alive there just to make completely backward and disgusting clothing for a group of degenerate people. In this case, these are foxes. But around the world there are many farms that torture various animal species such as chinchillas, ferrets, minks, as well as dogs and cats that are bred, for example, on Chinese fur farms. On all of these farms, the animals are skinned alive. The most common method used is stunning them with 2 electrodes, one placed in the animal's mouth and the other inside its anus, and subjecting it to a very strong electric shock that does not kill but only temporarily knocks it unconscious. Processing begins immediately while the animals are still alive, during which their paws are cut off and their skin is torn from their bodies. Many of them wake up during this unimaginable horror, or later on a pile of discarded bodies. Do not be part of this horror. Always boycott all products derived from animals. Eating meat is the most disgusting thing I know. It is like chewing the body of your own grandmother. What is more disgusting? A piece of a corpse or a fly? Corridor of death. They know perfectly well what awaits them at the end of this line, and they desperately try to turn back. There is only death there. They do not want to die. There is no humane way to kill someone who does not want to die. We do not need to eat animal bodies. You can live and be healthy on a cruelty-free plant-based diet, and nowadays it is very easy as we have hundreds of thousands of options. A photograph by Andrew Scoron shows a newborn calf, still wet from its mother's amniotic fluids and already taken from her forever. This is the real price of the bloody product called milk, which is added today to the majority of food products. Always check all the ingredients of the products you buy and boycott those that contain the tears, suffering, and despair of mothers and their children. Be a sower of a better tomorrow. Show heart and compassion to those who are harmed. It does not matter whether the victims are Jews or cows, pigs, chickens, or other animals, says Alex Hershaft, a Holocaust survivor. In the early 1970s, Hershaft was working on the problem of waste disposal from slaughterhouses. That was when he first saw blood-soaked animal remains. I thought of piles of bodies from Auschwitz and Treblinka. Of course, I told myself that these were only animals. But it did not leave me alone. The more I thought about it, the more similarities I began to see. Tattooing of prisoners and animals. The use of cattle cars to transport people to gas chambers and animals to slaughterhouses. Crowded wooden bunks filled with human skeletons and wooden pens where animals live. Something else troubled him as well. The arbitrary designation of who has the right to live. Christians live. Jews die. A dog lives. A pig dies. I wasn't planning any change. I was scrolling through Facebook as usual. I came across a page posting one post after another. No shouting. No slogans. Just facts and images. And at some point, something shifted inside me. I didn't become a vegetarian. I simply decided not to support the meat industry campaign. I had always heard that humans are hunters by nature. That without meat there is no strength. That it's necessary. Then I saw a photo of vegan bodybuilders from the US. And that story about necessity stopped making sense. It seems humans are more gatherers and farmers than the hunters we like to imagine ourselves to be. I didn't change my diet to be better. I didn't do it for fitness. I simply stepped away from something that no longer fit me. Everyone has their moment. Mine came when I stopped believing it had to be this way.